Okay, we're on.
Wait.
Oh, sorry.
Ready. Okay, let's go.
Action!
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Wulfie.
Hello, world.
Welcome back to the show. Welcome back
to Off the Record with Aditi and Gaby. And today with us we have Wulfie, who is back again.
Yeah, back again.
Yeah.
Making his comeback for
Yeah.
the show. People cheering in the back. Very happy to have you on the show again,
We are very
Wulfie.
excited to have you back. So
Thank you. It's wonderful to be back. Thank you
Yeah.
for inviting me.
Of course, always. And the reason we have Wulfie with us today, again, is for a very specific reason. Today is actually
our last
last episode of
Off the Record with Aditi and Gaby.
We are emotional. we can't even speak into the mics anymore.
Yeah, it's difficult to handle our emotions because, I mean, I was just saying that we just started. How are we already at the end of the show? I mean,
it has been a long ride, but it was a
Yeah.
good ride.
yeah.
It was great. And so,
Yeah. So the special part about today is today we are not going to be the hosts. We are going to get interviewed by the one and only Wulfie, who is here with his book and his questions.
so many questions aligned.
So every time we are on the other side of the table and we are the ones who are asking questions, and this time, we have to answer the questions.
We are in the position of our guests usually. So I get why they're nervous now.
Yeah.
Because they don't know we're going to be like, how they're going to be cooked, basically.
And what the questions are going to be. Do you want to give us a heads up, Wulfie?
They're going to be fun. They're going to be fun. Let's start with something easy.
Okay.
Let's go. Let's get into it.
Now,
We are getting right into it.
let's go. Now, for the benefit of the audience, they've been seeing you for, what number is this? Number 8?
This is going to be number 10.
Number 10.
Yeah.
Number 10. Now, for the benefit of the audience, remind us where you are both from and what you're studying at Brunel.
Yeah. Do you want to go first?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I come from India. I come from Pune. And I am here to study media and public relations and masters, obviously. And I am working with the Hillingdon Herald as the social media manager. And
Yeah.
Excellent. And Gaby?
I am from Switzerland, Geneva. I mean, born and raised in Switzerland, but my dad is from France. My mom is from Peru. Born and raised in Switzerland, Geneva. I study international journalism, master's degree as well, and I also write for the Hillingdon Herald as a reporter.
Excellent. Now, Gaby, obviously, working on the Hillingdon Herald has given you a lot of opportunity to get hands-on experience of written journalism. But what do you feel has been the most valuable experience for you?
The most valuable experience. There's so many of them. If we think in terms of journalism first, I mean, of course, it's going to be I feel like all the skills I've learned in Hillingdon Herald are, of course, going to be applicable in journalism, but also in social life, for instance.
Most certainly.
When we think of journalism, like skills applicable to journalism, I think of writing, for instance. My writing definitely got better when I look at the first articles I wrote, and I compare them to the latest I've wrote.
yeah.
The comparison is crazy to me, and how like I feel very grateful that I've been given the opportunity to grow on the paper, because I started writing quite small articles, nibs, and in the latest month's edition in March, I had a double spread that I basically I had to write the introduction, my own story. I had people to write for me as well, so I was kind of an editor. I got to lay out the page with you. We chose the picture together, so it's incredible to see like how much I grew within the paper.
And you most certainly did.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
certainly
so
have.
proud of her.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, so am I. So am
Yeah.
I.
And I guess the social skills also are very. That's what I'm saying when I'm saying that a lot of skills can be used also outside the paper.
Yeah.
I'm very scared of phone calls. I'm still scared of phone calls, but now it's slowly getting better.
What does that mean?
I'm scared of making phone calls. Like when I have to
Phone
call someone.
calls, yeah.
When I have to call someone, it's always like I get very nervous. Now I'm still nervous, but not as much.
It does get easier with practice and time.
Exactly.
I've got to admit, I found it very difficult when I started.
Yeah.
It took me about probably the best part of 6 months to really develop a confident phone manner.
Yeah.
But it does come, I promise you that. So practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
So that's excellent, Gaby. Now, Aditi, you aren't actually studying journalism, but your field, public relations and media, is certainly closely related to journalism.
Interconnected, yeah, kind of.
Now, journalists sometimes curse PR people,
Yeah.
but more often than not, they find them lifesavers.
Yeah.
So, what is part of, in terms of the work you've been doing for the Hillingdon Herald, what's been the most useful to you from the point of view of your studies?
The most useful, I would say, everything that I've been doing right from September. Like when I joined, when it was my first day at the Hillingdon Herald, I didn't know that I would be working till the very end, but in the back of my mind, I was like, I am going to work here for as long as I can. And all of the things that I've learned, like, I was the only one who was from my field, and all of the other people were like journalists and reporters, and everyone was doing that thing. So I had to connect with everyone, go ahead and make the first move to talk to everyone, like, and ask them to do videos with me. And then I wrote a press release. That was a good experience for me because I had a very good exercise with my professors as well, where we were taught how to write press releases. It was a part of our module as well. And then the podcasting was the utmost best thing that has ever happened.
Podcast was a big part.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of the podcast, what prompted you to start the podcast?
Oh, that's a question for you, Aditi. Because she literally just came to me being like, hello, let's do a podcast together. I was like, sure.
Yeah, so what happened is my professors, Joe and Mike, they had organized a workshop for the PR students where they had, they were going to teach how the podcast works, like how do you connect the wires and how do you talk on the microphones, does it actually happen. And when the first class that happened, I was not there at the class, and I was really sad that I missed such a good opportunity. But due to a few circumstances, I couldn't attend that class. But then Joe and Mike were like, we are doing another workshop where we are going to shoot an episode, like record an episode. It was there was no camera there, so we were going to record it. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to miss it for anything. So I went there and I learned everything. I did it. And then after that, actually no one from my class showed up to that workshop. It was just...
So it was just you?
No, it was me and one of my friend whose name is Durva. So it was just the two of us.
Hi, Durva.
Yeah, hi Durva. And then after that, when I got the recording for the podcast, I sent it to Gaby. I was like, I need to know what you think about it, because I was so excited that I am really doing something new, because I was just like a child. I was like, oh wow, this looks so nice. Everything goes there. You talk and you sound so real and so raw when you talk into the microphone. I was really excited. I was like a child, and I was like, Gaby, do you want to listen? She was like, yeah. And Gaby, she gave me a whole page of review of what she thought when I was speaking. And when I started the episode, I was just like, what's up, Mike?
Yeah, that was probably the best intro someone has ever come up with. But I listened to the first episode, the uploaded. Is it no? Is it it's not uploaded, so it's
I don't know.
Unreleased. The unreleased version.
It's a secret thing, lying somewhere in the archives.
Exactly.
One day it will emerge as a bootleg.
Exactly.
And then after that, I don't know, one random day we both were going grocery shopping, and then I was just thinking, since I've already done an episode for the podcast, I could actually do something with this. And then I was like, who can I do it with? And then I saw Gaby, and then I was like, who else can be the best to do this? And we also work together. So
you just saw her. You weren't expecting to see her.
No, I looked at her and I was like, this is the girl I want to work with. No, I'm not even lying. These were my exact train of thoughts. And then I was like, we even work together. So if I want to start my own show, what could it be? And why would I just randomly start a podcast? And then I was like, as it is, I'm the social media person for the Hillingdon Herald, then it can be associated with the Hillingdon Herald. And then I just went to her and I was like, Gaby, hi, do you want to do a podcast show with me? And then she was like,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And that's how we started everything, and now here we are.
Brilliant.
Wow.
Brilliant.
That was a long story, but that was really actually what happened.
Because I never knew. All I heard was that you were going to do a podcast.
Yeah.
And part of me initially was actually rather skeptical.
Everyone was.
Yeah.
It's partly because nobody had done it before. And the huge thing was, now I have experience of podcasting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that podcasts, it's very easy to start one up,
Yeah.
but it's very hard to sustain it.
To keep on, yeah.
Now, you're making the decision to actually step away now that you've come to the natural end of the study period.
Yeah.
So it does actually make sense to hang up the mic, as it were. And actually keeping a podcast going, I think is very, very difficult. It's fine for about 10 episodes.
Yeah.
And after that, you run out of energy and you run out of ideas and you're doing the same thing. And it can be a good idea to take a break.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's the way I think
I
I see
just
it.
want to add one thing though. We've done 10 episodes, but there was not once where we both were like, oh, I'm tired, I don't want to do this. And we can't think of any ideas or come up with something new, because the energy that we had in the first episode is still the same energy that we have in the last episode as well.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I think it also helps that you've got a very lively pool of people
Yeah.
True.
to draw on.
Yeah.
Very true.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So people like Adam.
Yeah.
Who else have you had on? You've had Ryan,
We had
Benny.
Ryan,
Benny, Aryan, Steve, Rachel.
There's a good pool of very, very lively people
Yeah.
and talkative people.
Yeah.
So I think you've done really, really well. And I'm
Thank you.
honoured to be the guest, to actually be the guest
course.
interviewer.
I want to tell you something. It's not that we decided it now that we want to call you
Yeah.
for to ask us
It
questions.
was planned.
It was planned. Even
along.
before we started the list who we are going to invite every week
Yeah.
as the guests, the first thing we both decided was we're going to call you to interview us.
To interview us.
For the end. So
Yeah, for the end.
you actually had the end planned.
Yeah.
This is like J.K. Rowling with Harry Potter.
Oh, wow.
Legend has it that she built up this legend has built up that the last page of Harry Potter was actually sitting in a
Oh.
safe somewhere.
Oh, interesting.
So
I didn't know that.
She had the last page, and then she just filled in the gaps in between with all the books.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting. Well, I'm even more honoured. Now, coming away from the podcast and the Hillingdon Herald, now, as international students, why did you decide to study in London? You could have gone anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Why London?
Go ahead.
Can I go first?
Yeah.
The reason I studied in London is basically, so when I finished my undergrad, I wanted to study journalism. So I start looking up for courses of journalism, basically. But then I thought that it might be even better if I did a journalism class in English, because English is kind of the main language of the world. So it's, I would say maybe, I don't know if it's the right words to use, but maybe more valuable as a diploma to have it in English. So you can work basically everywhere when you have a degree in English. It's a lot of doors open to you. So I started looking into a bunch of degrees in English. So I looked in Canada, I looked in the UK in general. So I looked in London, but other cities in England. I looked in Scotland as well. And then I was in Tokyo back then. And it was my first time in Tokyo, and I was living. It was my exchange year, so I was basically balancing my life between university and trying to discover the city. And I was like, I need to go in a city that I know, because if I go in a city that I don't know, then I'm gonna be tempted to go and explore the city all the time, and it's gonna be very complicated to complete the degree. So that's basically why I chose London, because I've been to London a few times before, and I was like, okay, I know London, I know there's still a lot of places to discover in London, but I know London, so I know I won't be as tempted as to explore the city around, and I can focus on my studies, and that's why I chose London, and then I applied to a bunch of universities in London, and Brunel was the final one.
Yay! Here you are. That's wonderful. Aditi, why did you decide to come to London?
Actually, it was very random.
Those are the best answers.
It was very random, but I graduated from my undergraduation. Yeah.
I know what you mean.
You got it.
But I studied Bachelor's of Commerce, and my specialization was human resource. So I've always wanted to do something in media, but I kind of didn't have a sense of direction, like what to do. So I started researching, like, where can I do, what can I do. I started with what can I do. I knew I wanted to do something in media, but I was not sure about which course to actually do. So I started searching, and then I was like, I can consider studying elsewhere, but not in India, but elsewhere. So US and Canada was never on my list, neither was Australia. It was either New York in US or UK, because US is like very far from India, and the time difference is like a lot. It's like 12-13 hours. So I was like, okay, I can go to UK. And when I decided that, okay, I have a country now, it's just the city. So I was like, I don't want to go elsewhere from London. If I'm going outside of India, I will go to London, and I won't go anywhere else, because it's a very big city, and bigger opportunities, and you get to know everything. And if I was going somewhere else, then I would eventually, after my graduation, would have to shift to London, because I want to work here. So it would have been a lot of work. So I was like, if I'm doing it, I will do it in London. So I applied to Brunel, and I got into Brunel in like 5
Here you
or 6
are.
days. Yeah.
This is fantastic.
We actually have a fun anecdote. Like we applied. So Aditi and I, we applied to a bunch of universities, and one of them was the University of Westminster, in which we both got accepted.
Yeah.
But in the end, we both ended up here. So we like to think that we would have met in every universe. We would have met.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, now that you've spent some time living in London,
Yeah.
what would you tell your friends they have to visit or have to experience in London? Your friends back home?
East London.
East London?
Yeah.
Anywhere in particular?
I really like Brick Lane.
Oh, yes.
I already knew Brick Lane. I've been once before I moved here, but I've been another time not so long ago. And East London in general, it's an area I didn't know that much very well. It's not somewhere that I explored.
What is it you like about Brick Lane?
It's so cool. It's full of cool people. There's a lot of vintage shops, so it's really nice to like clothes, graffitis everywhere. I think the vibe is just really, really nice, and people are very nice as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. Aditi, where would you tell your friends or your family that they have to see in London?
I feel like I haven't seen everything in London to tell someone that you need to go here, but the basic tourist places. But my favorite was London Bridge at the night time when it's dark. It's really beautiful there.
London
You mean
Bridge?
Tower Bridge?
Tower Bridge.
Tower,
sorry.
what, you see Tower Bridge best from London Bridge.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's true.
Most certainly. That's
Also,
excellent.
Yeah, I went to Horizon 22, which is like the tallest building. It's in Aldgate, and you see the whole of London from that building. It's a rooftop. It was really beautiful.
Yeah.
Have you been up the Shard?
Not
The
yet.
Shard- Not yet.
Not yet.
I was planning to, but no.
Yeah.
I don't have the money yet.
I'm not sure I'm into climbing buildings anyway. I don't have like a...
Well, you don't have to climb it.
I know.
There's a lift.
It's a
Take
lift.
the elevator, I know.
It's a
but,
really fast lift as well.
Yeah, I
Have
can
you been
imagine.
to Shard, Wulfie?
The view is extraordinary. So what was the question?
Have you been to Shard?
Twice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How is it?
Is
Is it worth it, though?
I think it is. Considering how far you can see, it is quite extraordinary to see London just there,
Yeah.
literally at your feet.
Yeah.
And that is quite an amazing experience.
I want
But,
to take my family there.
To the Shard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would make sense.
Yeah.
Now, we've looked at what would you recommend? What would you advise people to avoid at
to
all
avoid.
costs? What would you say? Never go there.
Never go there.
Or don't bother.
That's harder.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sorry.
for me,
Yeah.
if people say to me Carnaby Street, I say don't.
Carnaby. Yeah.
I
the
will
whole
say-
Soho.
Soho. Carnaby Street has changed.
Oh yeah.
In the
It has.
60s, it was the place where the mods and all the fashionable people were. Partly because it had the clothes shops and the tailors. Much of that has gone now. And you go down Carnaby Street now, and most of the shops are shops that you will see in most cities. There's nothing special about Carnaby Street anymore.
Yeah.
So if people ask me, how do I get to Carnaby Street? I will say to them, well, it's that way. But it's changed a hell of a
Yeah.
lot, and it's not what it used to be at all.
Yeah, but I think you have a different point of view than we do, probably, or I do, because you know how it used to be and how it
And
has
that's why
changed
I
now.
warn people,
Yeah,
it's
then-
not good anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what about yourselves? What have you perhaps frame it another way? What was disappointing?
I don't think not, but I have kind of the same feeling as you. I share the same feelings with you, Wulfie, because some areas in London, and even like when I compare them to when I came for the first time in London, which was like, I don't remember, but it was probably like 10 years ago now.
Wow.
Okay.
When I compare to them now, I'm thinking, for instance, of Camden. It changed a lot.
Yeah,
Piccadilly Circus changed a lot as well.
most
And I
certainly.
wouldn't say that Piccadilly is overrated because it's still very cool. But I feel like I'm not going to Piccadilly anymore unless I'm going to see a musical, because that's pretty much anything nice there is to do. Otherwise, it's just like so many people. Chinatown maybe is a little bit worth it if you want to get some good food. But other than that, it's very crowded, too much noise, too much people, and it's not even the prettiest area in the city. So I would say Piccadilly.
Yeah, I think I would go along with that.
Yeah.
It's great to go very early in the morning,
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can imagine.
or even extremely late at night. I'm talking. When in fact I'm talking about the small hours of the morning.
Yeah.
There was a cafe, a 24-hour cafe in Leicester Square.
In London?
I've
Leicester
forgotten where it was, but it was one of the few places where there would be a functioning facilities at 5 in the morning. And
Yeah.
sometimes if you've been out all night, one thing you want is a place
You
where
wanna
you
pee?
can get a good cup of tea, and there are actually facilities. That totally makes sense. Now, where else have you visited in the UK? I know Gaby, you've been to Oxford, and you're going to go to Scotland.
Yes.
Where else have you been?
I've been to Oxford twice now. We're gonna go a third time at the end of May with Aditi.
Oh, you're going to love Oxford.
Yeah,
Yes.
Oxford is really nice.
I'm going to Oxford University.
Yeah, we're going for a formal dinner.
Excellent.
yeah.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah. So Oxford, I've been to Brighton as well, and Bristol. Very pretty.
All good cities.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
very good cities.
And yeah, Scotland's to the sky.
Yeah.
I haven't traveled anywhere outside London yet.
Not at all. Yeah. Where do you want to go?
Well, for starters, I'm going to Oxford.
Yeah.
To Oxford? Anywhere else?
I want to go to Leeds.
Leeds.
Yeah,
Why Leeds?
because my best friend is there.
Oh, well, that is an excellent that is always a brilliant reason to visit a place.
But I also want to go to Edinburgh.
Oh, yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Of course.
And I remember you told I want to go to Skye.
Ah, Skye.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to Edinburgh, Glasgow is very close
Yeah.
by, and don't overlook Glasgow. That's also a very, very good city.
Oh, I could have been in Glasgow as well because I got into a university.
Oh,
Ah, excellent, excellent.
exclusive information.
Yeah.
For you.
Well, Glasgow's somewhere to explore in the future. That is wonderful. Now,
Yeah.
let me see.
One day.
Okay, now we're going to do something slightly different.
Oh.
Now, you've had a chance to try some classic British food.
Wulfie, this is going to be controversial. But
What do
Just
you like?
FYI,
What British food do you like so far?
None.
I am
None.
vegetarian, so
Vegetarian? Okay.
pure
Now, that's an
vegetarian.
interesting one. I mean, there are certainly dishes in British cuisine which don't have meat in them. I'm now going to think of one. Off the top of my head, I can't. There is certainly some stuff that doesn't have meat in it. I'm just pressed to think of it. In which case, is there any British food that you've heard of and sounds so horrible that you would not consider touching it?
There's a bunch of them, and now I can't remember on the top of my head. But yeah, I heard that British cuisine is kind of horrendous. Like especially for me, who's like the perfect mix of French and Peruvian cuisine. It's like, in my opinion, at least like Peruvian cuisine, one of the best cuisines in the world. British food is a bit bland and a bit sad. Would you want to give us an example, like a dish that you would suggest
well,
us?
how about haggis? Haggis is a great Scottish dish.
Yeah. Or is it the stinky fish?
Oh, there is stinky fish. That's Colleen skink,
Oh yeah.
which
That's the one.
I'm not fond of.
No.
I'm not the best person to have food conversations
Well,
with.
I'm going to actually offer you up
Oh.
a
Sweet.
Scottish delicacy. A Scottish sweet. Whoops.
She dropped the caramel.
Dropped it. This is the
thank you,
Tunnocks
Wulfie.
caramel. They are made just
Wow.
outside Glasgow. Try them now, and I want to see. I want to hear what you think of it. Open
Okay.
it up and have a bite.
Right now?
I'm very
now?
interested to
ASMR,
hear.
unpacking.
Oh my god. ASMR crunching.
Go for it. Go for it.
I think
go
we
for
have
it.
kind of the same snacks in Switzerland.
But these are Tunnocks. These are Tunnocks. Well, that's going down well, right? That's a like from Gaby.
It's caramel.
Yes.
Oh, of course, it says on the package it's caramel.
Oh, they both. There we go. We have Scottish. A Scottish.
It's a
snack.
Scottish win.
A win for Scotland. Well,
It
there
is
we
so
go.
good.
It is good.
So good.
Yeah.
You see, British food isn't terrible after all.
I wouldn't call this food. Yeah, those are sweets. Sweets are always good.
Well, there we go. There we go. Well, it looks like they're certainly enjoying that. Well,
yeah. Wulfie,
there are two more in the packet, and I'm not
Oh.
allowed to eat these things anymore. So
yes, I guess they're
they're
coming
yours.
home with us.
More for us.
Now,
It's so good.
Very good.
in past episodes, you've talked about the problem of understanding English people or British people. And so you know English and you speak English very well,
We tried.
but you're not used to the way
They talk.
people talk in Britain proper.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you a little quiz.
Ooh.
I'm going to give you a quiz in rhyming slang. Are you aware of Cockney rhyming slang?
Nope.
Well, one of the things, it's started out in London, in East London, but it has kind of spread to sort of general English in a way. And the idea is that rhyming slang is that you will use a word that rhymes with something else or an expression that rhymes with something else. I'll start you off with something easy.
Okay.
Now, what do you think this means? Now, you need to take care on the Appleton stairs.
Huh?
I didn't understand the
You
thing.
need to take care when you're going up the Appleton stairs or even coming down the Appleton stairs.
Apples and stairs?
I've said it wrong and I've given it away. It's actually apples and pears.
Apples and pears.
Apples and pears, stairs. So you need to be right. So you need to take care on the apples and stairs, especially if you're a little bit Scotch mist.
Scotch. I don't understand.
You've got to be
happening
careful
now?
on the stairs, especially if you're a little bit Scotch pissed. Now, for the next part of the quiz, I'm going to make it slightly more difficult.
Ah.
You're going to need to have a guess. Now, once you've graduated, found a job, found somewhere to live, maybe found someone to love,
Oh.
might you have any plans to raise any saucepans?
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 Children.
Why? Saucepan lid, kid.
Oh.
Sometimes they're known as dustbin lids.
Oh, I see.
That's good. You're getting the idea here. Now then, what would you prefer to drink first thing in the morning? Cup of Rosie Lee or a molten toffee?
Yeah, a cup of tea and
Toffee.
a cup of coffee.
Coffee.
Tea
Rosie
or coffee.
is tea.
Coffee.
Yeah.
Rosie Lee, tea.
And
Molten toffee,
Toffee is
is coffee. Though apparently they will also say, I've never heard it actually, but there's Everton toffee, and there's another one, a sticky toffee, and that can all mean coffee. And let's see now, who do you know is a real proper treacle?
A real proper treacle? A real...
What do you think What do you think treacle means?
Prickle.
A real... I don't have that one.
Treacle tart, sweetheart.
Oh.
Wow. My brain is not braining enough for this.
Yeah. My brain froze for like.
Well, there we go.
What is going on?
That was you thought English. You thought the way people had talk over here was bad. Well, you've just discovered it can get a lot worse.
I just feel like you need to talk a lot faster when you need to understand British people because they talk.
They talk really fast.
They swallow a few words.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably do. Yeah.
And the most thing that they keep repeating is pardon.
Pardon? Yeah.
Ah, dear. Okay, then. I'm going to go over to another question. In fact, this is actually borrowed from the very first episode.
Borrowing our own question.
Exactly. What is your current earworm?
Earworm.
An earworm is a piece of music or a
loop.
song that gets stuck in your head.
On loop.
What's your current
Have
earworm?
yours?
Let's start with Aditi.
Aditi, go first.
I think everyone knows this. The Tortured Poets Department.
Yeah?
It's Taylor Swift's new album. My favorite songs. I'm going to mention my favorite songs as well. It's Down Bad, I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, and So Long London, and Fortnite.
So these are on constant play within your head.
Yeah.
So
I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. One of the lyrics says that I'm so depressed I act like it's my birthday every day.
That's a good line.
Yeah. No, but yeah, that is the album that I'm binging on at the moment. It's so good.
You are constantly getting messages from Taylor Swift. That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Gaby, what's your current
me?
earworm?
I am back in my Beyonce era.
Ooh.
So I've been listening to. She released a new album a couple weeks ago now. It's how is this called again? A country genre album. I'm not really into country, but there is one song that is on repeat. It's called Yeah Yeah by Beyonce. It's very good.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I've been listening to a lot of her Renaissance music, which is the previous album she released. It's very good. Heated, very good album. Sorry, very good song. But Renaissance, very good album. So yeah, Beyonce.
What about you, Wulfie?
At the moment, the earworm I have at the moment is a song by The Move, which was a 60s band, a very underrated 60s band. They never really made it. They had a number of number ones in the late 60s, but they never really made it in America. But the song that I've got in my head from them is Blackberry Way. I only got to know it over the past month, and it just sticks in my head. It's very sort of Beatley. It's in some ways it's quite similar to Penny Lane by the Beatles. So it has that kind of mood and that sort of that kind of chugging rhythm. Really depressing song. And I'm not quite sure why it so much appeals to me. Otherwise, I get a lot of earworms from Bob Dylan. Yeah,
Oh.
Bob Dylan very often sends me messages.
He calls you.
If I have a Dylan song in my head, it's I'm getting messages from Bob Dylan again.
That's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Now, let
Sweet,
me
very
see. I'll come back to the podcast. Who would you like to bequeath the podcast to?
Are we even bequeathing the podcast? That's
Yeah.
something we were
Well,
discussing.
that's the question.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just say, right, we have done it.
Yeah.
I mean, 10 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
If you did a couple of bonuses, you would bring it to the dozen.
Yeah.
And it would be perfectly respectable
Yeah.
to stop
No,
there.
I agree.
In some ways, quit while you're ahead. Finish it while it's still while you've still got the sort of strong momentum.
Yeah.
But who would you like to see take it over?
So that's the thing. Like, I was just talking to Gaby before we started shooting the episode. I was like, we haven't really had a conversation if we want to keep it behind, or I mean, whatever it is that we're planning to do with it, we haven't had a proper conversation about
Yeah.
it.
But obviously there is one guest that we know that we know could be really, really good. It's Adam,
Adam.
obviously.
Oh, certainly. Adam
Yeah.
is
He
magnificent.
would be an amazing host.
Yeah.
He definitely would be. He definitely would be.
Yeah,
And I hope that if he doesn't take over this one, I hope Adam
He'll create his own.
will create. Yes, it would be
Yeah.
great.
Off the
great if he
record with
created his
Adam.
own.
Of the record with Adam.
My
yeah.
dear, my
And
goodness, yes.
I think that Benny also mentioned when she came on
Yeah,
the show,
she
she also
wants to do a
mentioned the fact that she
podcast,
wanted
yeah.
to start her own podcast as well.
Ah.
So yeah.
And Benny would be a very good foil for Adam,
Yeah.
because she is someone who could actually bring, because Adam is unbridled enthusiasm and it's wonderful enthusiasm. But he
Adam, we know you're
also
watching this, so-
needs- Adam also needs someone who's able to put the brake on.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
And
needs to be strong.
they would balance very, very nicely.
Yeah, there should
Yeah.
be a balance.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Wulfie, since we are here today, I want to know what you thought of us doing the podcast
Oh,
and
yeah.
all the episodes. I want to know what is your feedback, please.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the podcast
On live.
has
On
been
live.
really, really successful. Really successful. I've enjoyed every episode, not just episode 2, which is the one I was in, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah.
Just-
So-
I've really,
watch it.
really enjoyed seeing how the other members of the team have got involved and hearing their stories. That is a really, really exciting part. I mean, one thing that I would say from the episode you had with me, as a result of that, I'm actually back in contact with Andy Cox.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
yay.
I hadn't been in contact with Andy Cox for the best part of 29 years.
Wow.
The last time I remember contacting him was in 1995.
Wow.
When
How did you track him down?
well, I knew. Oh, how did I track him down this time?
Mm-hmm.
It was actually the other guy I mentioned, Mark Henderson. I was vaguely in touch with Mark Henderson, so I contacted Mark again and managed to get a contact from him. And so I'm back. So I'm back in regular communication with Mark, and also I'm now in communication with Andy.
Yeah.
And there's a good chance that we may meet up.
Oh.
Which is a
Amazing.
very, very nice result.
Yeah.
Because there's people who I worked with more than 30 years ago now.
Wow.
And it's nice to actually find that people, A, remember you and still, they tell me I haven't changed. I think, I hope to goodness I have. But anyway, that was really, really, really interesting. But I think the podcast has been a huge success, and it seems to have, from the start with Rachel and Steve, it seems to have just flown by.
Yeah.
I can't believe that it's actually, it's effectively 10 weeks
Yeah,
since it
yeah.
started.
A little bit more.
A little bit more because
we had
we
Easter
were
break.
off, yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like you did it about 2 or 3 days ago.
True. Yeah, we feel the same.
That's what we were saying. Like, didn't we just start? How are we
Yeah.
at the end of
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And yet has been 12 weeks. That's crazy. Yeah.
But then that is the way
such is life.
term
is
time
life.
is. Term time is just such a kind of roller coaster.
Yeah.
It's extraordinary anyone manages to learn anything, because it's everything just shoots by and you think, oh my goodness, it's the end of term. They've all finished.
Yeah.
And you sort of think, I hope they actually managed to learn something.
Oh, yeah.
Well, but you certainly have.
Yeah, we did. Definitely.
Everyone does.
That's
and
for
it's and it's wonderful.
Yeah. No, but when I say this, sorry.
Can I add something else?
Yeah. Of
course.
When you started, you said you were going to film it. And
Yeah.
I said, single shot.
Mm-hmm.
Just a single shot for 30 minutes.
Boring.
And I said, no, that
I have to ask you something. Yeah, sorry. Continue.
I said that was so boring. I take that back. It's worked. Now, partly because you've got quite lively characters.
Yeah.
Particularly watching Adam,
Yeah.
watching Ryan,
Yeah.
watching Steve and Rachel.
Yeah.
There was a lot of dynamism.
Yeah. It is very entertaining.
So it works. I mean, I would love to see more visual variety, but then
of course. No, that's definitely something we thought about, having other cameras.
cameras,
But
yeah.
that's more editing. And usually, like, big podcasts who have more angles, more cameras.
They have people to help
they have
them.
a team.
So when
and there's just the two of us.
So when we say that we do everything, we really do everything.
Yeah.
Right from booking the equipments to booking the room to editing to deciding the questions, the outfits, the guests.
The setup.
Talk
The
me through the
setup.
outfits today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About outfits today.
Yeah, it's black
and white.
Yeah.
Black and white. Well, I wore grey.
You're great. You're a mix of us. It's a mix black and white. It's great.
Oh, well, there we go. Basically, I wore grey because I wore a red shirt last time
Yeah.
round, and I don't want the world to think that I only have one shirt. So now the world will think, well, okay, he's only
has
got
2 shirts.
He's only got 2 shirts.
No, but coming back, I jumped and I screamed because I wanted to ask you something. I asked you that what do you think about the podcast, because I remember right before we started, we came to you with the idea, like we told you like we're going to do this, and you were like, I'm not sure. So like obviously you had different feelings at that time. So cut to 2 months later, what do you think? Like, did we fill in the expectations that you had from us, or you didn't have any expectations in the first place from us?
Well, to an extent, I didn't quite know what to expect.
Makes sense.
I
Yeah.
think that I've heard quite a lot of sort of, if you like, round table
Yeah.
podcasts, which just get boring.
Yeah.
And I would say that it has not been boring at all. Partly because you've kept them quite short.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Short, yeah.
You've also got good questions, and also you've had good guests. So from that point of view, it's worked extremely well. And I don't know what your future plans are for media work, but I would say I hope you will continue to do podcasting.
Yeah, would love to.
And maybe find a way to actually monetize it. I mean, that's one of the big difficulties.
Yeah.
Monetizing a podcast is difficult, and earning enough to make a living from it again is not easy. I don't know how to do it, and I'm not sure that I'd want to do it. But I hope you will continue. I really do.
Would love to.
Yeah, I can't explain how amazing I feel right now because I can see the look in Wulfie's eyes, and he talks with nothing but proudness. Like, I can feel it. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Wulfie.
That is my pleasure, and I've got to admit, I'm very, very proud to have been on the podcast and to see how you've embraced it. And it's not like something that you were told to do or told to set up. You've done it entirely off your own bats. And I think that is something to really, really applaud. You need to bring the applause in. There. That's enough. Don't want you getting big heads.
True.
So since we are here, first things first, I would really like to thank Joe and Mike.
True.
Because if it was not for them, or if it wouldn't have been them, I wouldn't have thought of this. I wouldn't have got the idea of doing a podcast, and I wouldn't have asked Gaby. We wouldn't be here. So a big shout out and thanks
up.
and love for Joe and Mike for
Yeah.
giving me this opportunity.
Definitely. And thank you for the feedback every week as well. That was really helpful.
Yeah, they're so sweet. They send me a feedback every week after the episode, and they have been posting on the Brunel and PR Media Twitter account as well about the podcast.
True.
Excellent.
Yeah, and I would also like to thank the Media Teaching Center.
Yeah.
Because they have been very understandable and very sweet with handling us every week for 12 weeks
12
now.
weeks now.
Yeah. So thank you, and a big shout out to the Media Teaching Center.
Yeah.
And
for providing us with the equipment every week, the rooms as well sometimes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I would also like to thank Steve, Rachel, and Wulfie, because when I went to them, when we went to them with the idea of the podcast, the first instinct that Rachel especially had, she was like, "Yeah, go for it. I really want you to do it."
Yeah, everybody was very supportive.
Yeah, everyone, Wulfie, Steve, Rachel, all three of you have been very supportive for us, and you never doubted us.
Nope.
And yeah,
there you go.
thank you to all
Shout
of you.
out.
Yeah, shout out to all of you guys. And last but not the least, the lovely audience and the viewers, the subscribers. Even though if you have not subscribed,
Please subscribe. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
It's just a click.
You have come, we have watched, you have seen us grow through first episode to here we are today. So thank you to everyone.
And I think we should have a shout out
I was going to say.
for Aditi and Gaby, without whom it would not have happened.
Yeah.
Shout out to us.
Yeah, shout out to us. I am immensely proud of Gaby and I, because I don't think it is easy, but we did it and we are still doing it. So yeah, proud of us.
Yeah, proud of us.
Yeah.
Proud of you, Aditi.
Proud of
Thank you
Gaby.
for involving me in this amazing adventure and experience.
What's your next
partners forever.
What's your next podcast going to be?
I'd love to do a podcast about traveling.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
That's something I'm really down to do.
How about we do a mini vlog for Oxford?
We can do a mini vlog for Oxford.
Yeah, but
Did you actually know that the person we're going, I mean Holly, my friend who's staying in Oxford, she's doing an exchange year in Oxford. She's a YouTuber, and she knows how to vlog. She has million views on YouTube, by the way.
ooh,
There we
wow!
go.
Shout out to Holly, Holly Infinity.
Yeah, Imagifinity, it's her name.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, on those sweet words, I guess it's time for us to wrap up the last episode of The Record with Aditi and Gaby. Thank you again, Wulfie,
Thank you, Wulfie, for
Thank
coming
you for
hosting-
inviting me.
for
Thank
hosting
you very
the
much.
last
It's
one.
been a pleasure.
and for the wonderful questions.
for the wonderful
We didn't
questions.
see it coming.
And
I hope we were good as interviewers.
Yeah. I mean, I hope so.
Interviewees.
Interviewees.
Interview subjects.
Yeah.
You are a
Sorry.
delight to interview.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And well, as for the audience, thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
It was
Maybe you
amazing.
can wait and you watch.
You wait and you
Maybe.
watch. Maybe something's gonna come up.
Yeah.
Not saying anything, but who knows?
No promises made.
No promises,
but
but
who knows?
maybe exclusive content's coming soon.
They've not gone yet.
We're not gone.
You
Stay
wait
tuned.
and you watch.
You wait and you watch.
Yeah.
Sayonara.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.
Au
Au
revoir.
revoir.